If you're a paralegal student, a licensee, or just someone interested in Ontario law, you know that this profession isn't just about the statutes. It's about the strict standards that we follow while using them. I'm creating this series to explore the Paralegal Rules of Conduct, starting right at the beginning with Rule 1, Citation and Interpretation. It might sound dry, but as you're about to learn, knowing the correct definitions is the absolute requirement for competence in this field. Let's get into it. Behind almost every single regulated profession, doctors, engineers, you name it, there's an official rulebook, a guide that lays out exactly what they can and can't do. Today we're going to pull back the curtain on paralegals and decode key definitions that govern our entire professional world. That brings us to the big question: what does it really mean to be a professional paralegal? I mean, it's got to be more than just knowing a bunch of laws. It's about playing by a very specific, very strict set of rules. It's called the Paralegal Rules of Conduct. All the definitions we're about to discuss comes directly from Rule 1 of this foundational document. Hi everyone, I'm Lachelle, paralegal licensee and notary public in Ontario, Canada. Before we dive into specific definitions, I need to make a quick disclaimer. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. This is not legal advice, and I am not your legal representative. If you have a specific legal issue, you should always consult a licensee directly. With that said, we have 4 parts to cover to summarize Rule 1. Let's see what they are. Here's our game plan. We've broken this whole thing down into 4 simple parts. First, we'll meet the players and define their roles. After that, we'll look at the client relationship, tackle the absolutely crucial duty of loyalty, and finally see where paralegals fit into the big picture. Before you can understand the rules of any game, you have to know the lingo, right? Let's start with the basic definitions that everything else is built on. Part 1. Who are the players? Because in the legal world, just like in any field, you've got to know who's who to understand what's going on. At the center of this discussion is the paralegal. I want you to notice the specific wording here, a paralegal licensee. That word licensee is so important because it tells you right away this isn't just a job title, it's an official regulated professional designation. Who's handing out these licenses? That would be the Law Society of Ontario. You can think of them as the governing body, the referee of the game. They write the rule book, and they make sure everybody is following the rules. And, of course, there's the client. A person becomes a client the second they consult a paralegal who agrees to help them out. The professional relationship starts right then and there. This is where the language gets super specific and you got to pay attention. A paralegal is licensed to provide legal services in Ontario. Simple enough, but licensee is a bigger umbrella. It can be a paralegal or a lawyer in Ontario. And legal practitioner is an even bigger umbrella that covers all of them, plus lawyers from other parts of Canada. See how they build on each other? Okay, now you know who the key players are. Part 2 is all about defining that client relationship. This is about the agreements and the understandings that form the real backbone of any legal work. You'll hear the word consent all the time, but what does it actually mean in this context? The rules break it down into 3 crystal clear steps. First, the client has to have all the information they need. That's full disclosure. Second, they have to agree freely with no pressure. And third, you got to get it in writing. It's a simple, powerful process designed to protect everyone. A paralegal is hired by way of a retainer, and there are basically 2 main types of retainer. A full retainer is pretty much what it sounds like. The paralegal handles the whole case start to finish. Then there's a limited scope retainer, which means the paralegal handles a specific piece of the case, which can give clients a ton of flexibility. Now we're arriving at what I think is the absolute heart of the paralegal rules. Part 3, the core duty of loyalty. You could argue this is the single most important principle in the whole thing, because the entire justice system is built on trust. A client has to be able to trust their paralegal completely, and that trust is protected by one core idea: avoiding conflicts of interest. So here's the definition of conflict of interest: a substantial risk that a paralegal's loyalty to a client is harmed by their own or others' interests. The key phrase here is substantial risk. It's all about any situation where a paralegal's loyalty might get split between their client and someone or something else. And the rules really hammer this point home. We're not talking about some vague what if or one in a million kind of problem here. The risk has to be more than a mere possibility. It has to be a genuine serious risk to that core duty of loyalty. The bottom line here is this. The paralegal has to be 100% on their client's team and only their team. No divided loyalties, no competing interests, just total focus on their client. For our final part, let's zoom out and take a look at the wider legal world. This is where we get to see exactly where paralegals fit into the whole justice system. The rules use the word tribunal a lot, but I want you to erase any picture you have in your head of just a traditional courtroom, because the official definition is way broader than that. It covers courts, boards, mediators, basically any place where a dispute gets officially sorted out. And this list really gives you a great sense of just how varied a paralegal's workplace can be. We aren't just stuck in one type of building. We can be representing clients in a huge range of settings all across the justice system wherever people need help resolving a problem. And our work isn't always done alone. The rules also allow for something called affiliation. This is basically when a paralegal or their firm partners up with a different kind of business, say an accounting firm, to offer clients a more integrated, all-in-one kind of service. It's a pretty interesting way to connect legal services with other fields. So, there you have it. We've defined the players, unpacked the relationships, and really dug into that absolute core duty of loyalty. We've discussed the key definitions that hold an entire profession accountable. And that is the bird's eye view of Rule 1. It changes the way you see the system because it proves that words matter. Whether it's the distinction between a client and a prospective client or understanding the duty of loyalty, these definitions build the foundation of everything else we do. In the next video, we are going to tackle Rule 2, professionalism, where we focus on the standards of integrity and civility that we all need to uphold. If you found this video helpful, please hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the next part of the series. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.